Right on. I'll get this stick down. I'll get it down. All right. Boom. All right. Hmm?
Oh, so, ooh. Costco sent their weekly ads out and had a nice knife set. That's how you know you're an adult.
Knife. Get that knife set. How old are you guys?
I think for me, the okay, I'm officially an adult thing was the oh, look at these socks. It's like it's that I think for me it wasn't the whole thing of I'm an adult now, must adult thing. It was
Oh, I hate that stuff.
With the socks thing, it was I realized for me, it was more of the it wasn't no longer about ooh socks. It was about the fact of I have the power to buy my own socks. I'm not getting them for Christmas.
I can have socks with donuts on it.
Yeah. Like, yeah. I'm not getting them for Christmas. They're not forced upon me. I'm like, no, I can buy my own socks and buy whatever kind of socks I want.
That's fabulous.
Yeah, that was my, I'm an adult. Yay!
Gonna buy socks.
Yeah, I can buy my own socks.
Look, Mom, I'm buying socks.
Well, my mom, I've always taken this advice to heart, and it's always true. Like, there's two things you can never have too many of: socks and underwear.
Well, actually, I'll disagree with that. I think you can have too many. I think you could be crazy obsessed and fill your house full of socks and underwear.
Oh, well, you can be obsessed and crazy and fill your house with too many things. A lot of stuff.
But that's what I'm saying.
With underwear, it's like you're always using underwear. You're always going to wear it no matter what.
You're going to use it, and it's going to like it.
Yeah, very much.
It better like it. All right. Did you check to see if we're up on Facebook? Because I don't see us apparently being up on Twitch. Wait, there we go. It seems to realize that
yes.
that we're doing things.
We're currently live on Facebook.
Nice. There we go.
Going through my Facebook friends thing, and I'm like, wait, who is this person? Apparently, I've been friends with this entity, and I have no idea who they are. They haven't posted anything since like 2015. So I'm like, okay, let's see what you'll do because I have no idea who you are.
Like I've had some, and I think I know sort of like what the game is being played, but lately several ladies, and I mean not like I wouldn't call overtly sexy, but like attractive ladies, and like, yeah, befriend me. I'm like, oh, I don't know, maybe they're into stuff, but I'm going like one every once in a while kind of keeps messaging me, hi. I'm going like, hey,
They're bots.
That's kind of what I figured.
What they usually do, they're follower bots, and what it is like usually it's if they're not trying to catfish you or just trying to get numbers. What they usually do is they do the can you follow me back, blah blah blah, follow for a follow, and then when you follow them, they unfollow you, and they just keep boosting up their numbers. That's literally
Lame.
they do that crap on pretty much any social media that has a follower aspect. So like Twitter,
Lame.
mainly on Instagram and all that stuff. But yeah, it's like follow for follow BS. And so yeah,
Yeah, none of them asked for a follow. It's just been sort of odd, partial. It's almost as if somebody wanted to talk, but only at that moment because wouldn't then reply at all afterwards. So, not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I'm not entirely sure what's going on.
they're testing to see if it's a live account.
Okay, now that makes sense. I could see that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're messaging if you reply back or so. They're like, okay, this is a live account. Follow and see if we get something that's worth hacking and all that. So it's usually just bots or just people being douche. So I've had a few of those, and it's like, okay, you're blocked. Bye bye. There's literally no reason for you to be messaging me. I have no idea who you are. You have no common friends whatsoever. So
Yeah, I was just trying to figure that out because I was going well, it's it
especially when they have profiles of scantily clad or hot looking women. Usually it's the account with a woman profile.
yeah. I was noticing that. I was just kind of going like, oh, this is silly.
Yep, they're bots.
Okay, I was figuring it was something like that.
Yeah. Either bots or Google's trying to get your info, testing out for see if it's a live account or not.
I'm like, man, girls throughout school didn't give a crap about me. I'm like, you think I'm gonna fall for this whole, swoon for the girls thing? I mean, come on. It's like I like ladies, but come on now, seriously, you think I'm wired to go like, oh, they're talking to me? I mean, come on. I've had some hot chicks around me where I'm going like, I know you're not interested, like, so I'm not gonna freak out, like.
But sadly, the amount of people who do fall for that, I mean, I know someone personally, not going to name any names, who did fall for that stuff, and I had to physically tell them.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Really, dude.
Had that
really?
intervention, literally.
Really?
Well, vulnerable.
I know.
They were in a vulnerable as a part of their life, and
it's what you get for being attractive and loved by the ladies. Oh, I'm so empty inside.
I'm so lonely.
So funny.
Thank you, Zach Brannigan.
So lonely. Would you like any more champagne?
It's pronounced champagne.
Oh, God! That's so pathetic. No, I understand people don't like Futurama. I don't care. I think it's one of the best shows ever made.
Well, there are two
So
people
funny.
in this world: those who liked Futurama and those who are wrong.
No, people have a right to not like it. I just don't agree with them. I just
honestly just don't get why. Well, I'm not gonna say I don't get it. It's just that I'm just like I don't understand because it was such a great fun show.
it was such a perfect replacement for The Simpsons, and then The Simpsons just kept going.
I think it was just a different crowd.
It must be.
When we were in college, there was this one lady who loved The Simpsons, and I remember her response. And to this day, I'm still baffled by it. Was I love The Simpsons because they show what a real dysfunctional family is like. And I'm just like, what's wrong with your family?
There's nothing on The Simpsons that's remotely, realistic. That's why it's funny.
I was like, okay. I'm like, that's what
floats your boat.
I'm like, hey, I'm glad that audience, that you are their audience, and that was made for you. I'm like, I'm happy because you have something that you can relate to. Good for you.
I'm happy that you're happy.
Pretty much. Well, there was one Discord. I didn't even bother reading it because I knew it was gonna just like pump my blood pressure up. Um, with Avatar: Last Airbender, with it being released on Netflix, of course there's a whole new group of people
Yeah.
who are watching it and all that stuff, and of course a whole new bunch of bad takes. Not only just bad takes, but internet.
It's like the
takes.
Power Rangers, but with lots of misogyny.
My favorite one that I was just like, I don't even know how y'all even come up with this one. Is that
I never know.
that Iroh was a bad character. Yeah, because
Oh yeah, and Mr. Miyagi was a hateful old bastard. Yeah,
because he was a war criminal and he shouldn't have the right to be redeemed, and I'm just like, y'all are the same ones that.
Okay, there is an interesting criticism there that isn't usually brought up.
Yeah.
Most people don't think of him that way, and
yeah, but the fact of the matter is that they are absolutely ready to not even bother
listening to the rest of it.
His forgiveness arc, knowing that the crap that happened to him, the reason why he became who he was is because he saw what was happening. And while
Yep.
I'm not a big fan of it's not important until it happens to me, I've never liked that mentality that people have. The fact that it took him losing his son to realize, oh crap, this isn't what it was.
Well, sometimes you're in a bubble and you just don't see stuff.
That's what I'm saying. Like I was going to continue on. It's like with that, he grew up in a nation.
I like that shading. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, my pad went down. There we go.
But it's like a parent, like he grew up in a nation that was full of propaganda.
Yeah.
Of course, he's going to just be isolated from everything.
Oh yeah.
And so it's like they don't. These are the same people who are willing to just not forgive anybody except for the people that they think is okay.
Well, it's usually because they find the character sexy, and and that's the reason to forgive them. And I just go like, no, Uncle Iroh is an amazing character because he was an amazing character on screen, the stuff he did, but he was an amazing character simply because he was one of the villains before the series started, and he figured that out. Admittedly, his son dying, but his son died. He figured it out. He could take his place on the throne, but instead of, becoming another horrible person, he went out of his way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, did I just... Uh-oh, we're getting some of that stuff again. Come on.
You have all other programs turned off.
Yeah? Oh, come on now. Really? Jerk move. That is a jerk move.
Is it lagging again?
It's just frozen. It is frozen solid. Oh, I hate that. Wait. Whoop.
Is it that
Magic.
Is it that
Magic has occurred.
thing that you're talking about?
It's ever since the update, the last update, Rebel. It's funny. I check their preferences. You know how in most programs you adjust the memory.
Right.
That's gone now. So I think they did some kind of an automated, like maybe it's figuring it out for you. And so there's times where there's just no issues at all. It's just smooth as glass, great. But then I've had a couple times where, remember last night where I was crashing over and over again? It was in the same spot. And then magically, one time I did the exact same steps again and it went through and no problems. Like what happened right now is like, oh, I'm going to just quit because I got, it froze so bad last time. And so I'm glad it didn't because I hate redoing work.
Yeah.
I hate doing that.
We need to look at it, and maybe it's in like a different section, the preferences and stuff. And if not, check forums, send an email, say, hey, what's going on with this?
Well, they just did the update like a couple days ago, so it's quite possible there might be a bug or something. And the thing is they're such a good company. I'll forgive it because they keep giving me the software that I want. They keep giving me the updates that I want. And every once in a while they screw up. So, hey, you screw up. I get it. Meanwhile, I'm totally trying to fake this lighting. Yeah, that should be good enough. But yeah, it's funny. I rewatched all the Karate Kid movies, and the whole time I'm going like, wow, if you had Uncle Iroh and Mr. Miyagi as your neighbors, you'd be doing pretty darn good. I love those dudes.
I think I would just.
Oh, dang it, Eric. Pay attention to what you're doing.
I think I would just have them like over and just sit and listen.
Oh yeah, no. There we go. See, I'm talking and not paying attention to what I'm doing. So there we go.
What you do?
Hmm?
What do you do?
Oh, just stupid stuff. I'm like, oh, the cast shadow's right here, blah blah blah. Put the line down. So, and then I'm talking. I'm like, burr, 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 fill the whole thing in. I'm like, dang it, Eric! Pay attention to what you're doing. Yeah, I just find it so funny that these great old shows come back and the new generations are watching it. I'm like, yeah, and the new fandoms are popping up. You know, and it's just like in the old days that didn't happen unless you had like DVD sets and then you could just somehow make it happen. But now it's like it's so funny. I keep thinking Avatar: The Last Airbender didn't happen that long ago, and clearly it did. So
Yeah, it was what was 15th
yeah,
anniversary or something.
yeah, it was starting right about the time we got the job, and I've been stuck in a design department ever since, and neglected to think 15 years has passed. So
Actually, it's 16 years. Yeah.
16. There you go.
It started in 2005. First aired February 21st.
Yeah, I turned the recording off, and there's still some lag, so I just need to remember to.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
It's test stuff. So.
And it might just be that this computer is just at the point where it's handling everything, so which is fine.
I'm trying to see if I see. There was actually somebody made I was talking about Airbender, and they were talking about what if like if Zuko, when he came into power, so became Fire Lord, one of the things he did, what he would do, would be to basically stop all Agni Kai that was up well, below a certain age. Like if you were not of the legal age, whatever that is, you could not challenge a kid to an Agni Kai as an adult. He's like, he would ban that because that is so unfair. And so they were talking about that, and somebody was like, what if Zuko, like one of his quote unquote powers was to sense an illegal Agni Kai no matter where it was.
So he was like Batman.
Yeah, and he's like, the scenario was he's running down the hall, putting a shirt on, like anime girl style, with a piece of toast hanging out of his mouth.
Oh wow, yeah.
The servers were just like, "Sir, what's going on? Can't talk, Agni Kai." And somebody else was just like, "Okay, what happens if he's sick and he can't do it?" And somebody was like, "Well, that's when Toph steps in with a flamethrower."
Nice.
I was like, I'd pay to see that.
Here we go. You know, I could probably just block this in with big ink stuff. Probably be quicker. I just kind of feel like screwing around right now, though.
It was like the old school guys just put an X where it's supposed to be black ink.
Part of it right now is I'm just trying to get the general layout kind of figured out, so I kind of want to see the dark spots.
Yeah, I get you.
Come on. Oh, come on, don't do this to me. You see? This is what's weird. This morning, it wasn't doing this. Now, exactly the same set of circumstances, and it's giving me problems. I don't get that. I don't mind there being problems. I mind there being problems. I can't figure out what's going on. It's like a Skinner box. Wait, what? What's going on? Okay. Really? God, that's weird. Well, things are going on over there. Gonna what now?
I was trying to keep stuff held in so I'm not creating a scene for the middle of it.
Do what you need to do, huh?
I'll just do it quietly. As quiet as I can.
Yeah, I'll do what you need to do. Yeah, it just keeps doing it. Come on. Like, it was recording this morning, and it wasn't doing any of this. Now that it's not recording, it's like acting like I'm trying to. I mean, this is the same. I mean, I'm repeating some of the same stuff I did this morning, so I'm like, come on.
The funny thing is, I'm not seeing anything.
Well, no, this is the system stuff is popping up. You're not seeing it on there because it's only capturing the software screen. Rebel 4 is not responding, blah, 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 blah. It's like, yeah, well. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye, program. Come on. I don't see. This is the stuff that I find frustrating. It's just like, okay, look, this morning you were working, now you're not. Don't do one, then the other. Either work or don't, because I can't sit there and concentrate on working while I'm wondering if it's going to actually function. Come on. And restarting the software. God, that is weird. Ah, dead air. Look, now we're getting skipping because the file's loading. All right. We good? We good? There we go. We're good. All right. It's behaving again. Jerk computer. All right. Dang it. Dang it, Eric. Pay attention. That'll work. Is it the ruler? Oh, what the heck? It might be the ruler. Or the ruler tool. That is bizarre. Come to think of it, it crashed earlier, right around when I was working on the ray gun. Oh, that might be a glitch. I'll have to look that up. Let's try this again minus the ruler. Well, this is going to be a BS stream, but hey. Yeah, no, but it just why the ruler of all the tools to. Okay, let's try this again without using the ruler.
It could be like perspective memory.
What? What?
It could be it's using up memory in anticipation.
I have no idea. It's just supposed to make the line go straight. So maybe I couldn't tell you. God, that is weird.
Yeah, I'm so proud.
Hmm.
So currently 71 degrees out. Yeah.
Yeah, when I did my walk today, I was just literally out there. I was going like, whoa, whoa, wait. I was actually kind of having to fan myself off a little bit. I'm like, it's warm out here.
Yeah,
The 70s being warm, but what are you going to,
what's funny is I think it's because since it's getting technically warm out, the sun is close. Well, summertime. Yeah, we're closer to the sun, so we're getting a bit more heating. But temperature-wise, it's still not directly heating up. Because like when I went out to go to the store, I had my hoodie and this shirt on, long sleeve shirt, and I was outside and was like, oh, I'm starting to sweat. But it was only like 70, yeah, like it was only like 71 degrees out. So I'm like, okay, it's warmer than I expect. But on the same note, I'm also a lump. I sweat when I sneeze.
I sweat when I sneeze. I don't want to do this ray gun without the ruler tool. Okay, let me think. Yeah, okay, I'll see what I can freehand on the ray gun. Bull, guys. Bull.
It doesn't have the one option where you can like hold the shift and then just pull a line straight across.
Yeah, that's the tool.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to just work on this ray gun and see if it futzes up like it did last time.
I'm just keeping an eye on the stream to see if it's jumpy because it was jumpy just a couple seconds ago.
Well, that's because it was loading in the... What the heck is going on? There we go. Jeez. It's like, look, behave or don't. Don't sit there and behave one minute and screw with me the next. There we go. Yeah, so far it's working fine outside of that weird flash to black thing that it did. Yep, nope, completely normal.
Yeah, maybe it's something the range maybe is something that really taxes the memory. I know.
Yeah, there's got to be something like that, right?
I know a lot of times tools like that have a weird specific thing where it's like, for some bizarre reason, it chews up a lot of memory because it has to predict where it has to go. There's something about that. 'Cause I know I've had something similar on the desktop when going through with when Photoshop without having when I have it when the computer hasn't been shut down or restarted. Stuff when a lot of the memory is being used. It'll just be like, I'm tired. I'm not gonna let you do
Yeah,
this.
I do know that in an earlier version of this, before they optimized the code, that they had this whole thing, and they still have it. It's kind of useful, but it's sort of a masking layer. You set up a shape on a layer, and when you activate that as a mask, then it won't paint there. So it's like a mask in Photoshop, but it's sitting on another layer. It's okay, but it also has all of the normal marquee lasso tool stuff to make selections. Magic wand, yada yada. So if you make one of those, it just destroyed the computer. It was like, you wanted me to select, and it was like, it was really weird, and that went away as of one of the last major reworks of the software. So maybe some of that is like still there, you know.
Mm-hmm. It's weird what chews on memory and what doesn't. It comes to stuff like that.
So I see. I mean, right now I'm doing the same level of work on the same file. It has got to be that ruler tool.
Mm-hmm.
The funny thing is I use it while not streaming, and it's fine. So
Maybe it's like I said with the streaming, it's probably taxing on the memories.
that's my guess. Yeah, because there's probably just a. It's probably at the end of what it can do. I just need to remember to save often.
Yep.
It's a funny thing. I'm using the smoothing,
Mm-hmm.
and I look at the smoothing and go like, that seems to me to be far more intensive than a ruler would be. You know, like, huh. Yeah, I'll look it up later. It's probably something to that effect.
Mm-hmm. You can imagine just putting up a technical difficulty little thing like what was that like in The Simpsons? That was the one I liked where there was like a guy holding a bottle of alcohol and he had a kid and he was on the camera and he just looked like he was just like out of his gourd. Had this goofy drunk look on his face. That one and the old school Saturday Night Live sketch for Jingleheimer Junction, which is my favorite SNL sketch. But every time they would cut a scene and had a little the technical difficulties, it would always be something different of like somebody like the train running over people, and it just kept like progressively getting worse and worse and worse.
Yep.
The first one was like people like staring at. It was like somebody was like giving the I don't know what's going on shrug, and then like the last one was like the train had ran over somebody.
Yeah. Yes, we are back for round 2, and we are filthy savages.
You savages.
We might have just figured out the problem that had last time, apparently, and I love this tool. It is the straight line ruler tool. It's one of the best I've ever used, but apparently it takes up way more memory than it should, and I'm thinking that's what caused the problem last time. Because we just went through 2 or 3 crashes during the stream at the exact moment I was working on this ray gun, and it was just because I was using that ruler. It didn't happen any other time. So right now I need to kind of, I guess, work around one of my favorite tools, which also means there might be some other tools that are similar that I might want to be wary of until I find out if it works
Yeah.
properly or not.
Yeah, at least when it comes to the streaming stuff.
Well, I mean, that's okay because I mean, part of this is like, for example, like right now,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not inking, I'm just laying out the image, but this allows me to use a lot of the same stuff that I would for inking if I needed to.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's all practice.
Yeah, exactly.
Because at the end of it, this image will have very few lines in it. I want to physically kind of see where everything's going. You filthy savages. It's awesome. Okay, that feels a little better. Ooh, well, that wasn't even remotely straight. Oh, oh, good. It's funny. I don't even remember why I remembered this. But first year college, the first apartment we had,
Mm-hmm.
it's a top level of a house, and it was okay. There was nothing wrong with the place. It was actually a pretty good place. On retrospect, I think I just should have stayed there instead of moving. And there's a shower, and the bathroom was okay. And it wasn't like spectacular, but it was a decent little bathroom, little shower, yada yada. Okay, whatever was wrong with the house's plumbing, the sound as the shower's running would change, and at that instant, I would have to, in a shower stall, obviously naked, throw myself against the wall of the shower because that is when I think that's when the hottest possible water will just suddenly come out of the shower.
Mm-hmm.
And and it got to a point where I had like this ninja reflex, you know.
Sound like somebody would be flushing the toilet or something, or using the facility.
Whatever it was, I honestly don't know and don't know. But it's just one of those things where it's just it kind of reminds me of the other stuff where you're working on something and then like because I would be working on 3D programs or whatever, and then something would act in a certain way and I'd be like, whoa!
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's like the same reaction.
Yeah, like when you see a duck's tail feathers wiggle, you know they're about to poop. Like, oh crap!
It's kind of like that. Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's time for the poop to happen.
Poop dance.
Time for the poop dance. It's time for the poop dance, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I've been around ducks and I've been around kids. Both of them have a weird reaction before they're gonna poop, so you kind of learn things.
Time for the poop dance, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I can straighten up stuff further later. That's a little better. Wait. Let's do that. Space modulator. Yep, as a matter of fact, none of those jumps were happening. I think it was that ruler tool.
Weird, weird memory eater for some reason.
Or something. It's yeah,
It's
I don't even like guessing anymore, because it's just like it's so far beyond me that guessing just feels like a dumb thing to do.
It's like yesterday with the whole power cord thing.
How the hell could anyone have? You caught that? That was you're like a psychic or voodoo or something. But when you said that, my first thought was, well, that doesn't sound right. What?
You're foolish.
Well, no. It was more of a that doesn't sound right. And then he said, well, the thing with the blah blah blah, and then I went, wait a minute, I tried everything else, and that would kind of explain it. So then I started checking, and I'm like, I think you're right. Well, my first reaction was skeptical because it's a weird thing to say, but as it turns out, I think you were right. Why in the world would the power cord affect the cursor when you're working on stuff? I mean, that doesn't make any sense. That is such a bizarre thing to even happen, and yet that's what was happening. So it's just like, wow,
I am the specialist when it comes to the weird, bizarre techno stuff. It's I don't know if it's almost like the best I can describe it is like it's almost like a weird kind of instinctual feel. It's like, okay, if something's not feeling right, I'm like, wait, this doesn't feel right.
Yeah. No, I hear it, because the thing is there's so many things going on that I'm just trying to do that I don't have any extra brain space to sit there and go like, the magical thought of it's the power cord affecting the cursor on the key. I mean, I'm sure a techno guy would be like, oh yeah, it's because it's blah 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 yada yada. I'm like, I'm trying to do 1,000 things right now. That is so weird that I never figured it out in a year and a half of me screaming at the screen going like, why are you jumping? I thought it was the software or something.
And that's where I come in, just going like, yeah, let me see, something's weird about this. Wham! Yep.
Yeah, I just needed to spank the tomato.
Pretty much.
I don't understand what the tomato had to do with my software. I mean, it's over in the kitchen, and spanking it seems to be completely nonsensical. Yet the software just properly updated, so thanks, hon.
But it worked, though.
Exactly right. And I just go like, meanwhile, I'm going like, logic and reason. Making them happy little arches in the... Yes. You put a happy little arch here and a happy little arch there. Yeah, the whole point of this step right now is I'm kind of... Okay, other than the fact that I'm just doing some testing on this and getting stuff figured out and trying to decrease some stress. I'm probably going to do a nicer version of this ray gun, but I had this initial quick, I can show it to you, image that I threw together when I was figuring out, be closer to that. Anyways, this is not great. This is not great at all. But I kind of threw this together to go, do I like these colors? Does this work? Does that work? And then I'm like, okay, this layout is decent. And now I'm going in and I'm trying to make the details make more sense. And once everything feels right to me, I'm going to start really probably more doing a serious execution. But right now, I'm still not 100% sure what this ray gun looks like, so there's no way I'm doing a final execution on a ray gun that I just, I don't know anything about. Speaking of mysteries, save your computer before the mysterious crash gnome visits you. There you go.
Guess what day it is, kids? It's Crash Gnome Day!
Can I ask you something then? The face there?
Mm-hmm.
It's feminine, but do you see a little bit of masculinity in it? Not a ton, just...
Pull it down a little bit.
Sorry. Give it a second. it lags about 5 or 6 seconds behind what's actually going on.
Yep.
Or longer. It might be much longer.
I think it's about a 15-second delay.
Wow, yeah, no, I didn't realize it was delaying that long. We're watching my screen right now, not realizing. Save now before you have to remove the... I swear to God, dude, we got like 5 tomatoes in there. There's like this whole, like, you know, salad bar S&M scene going on.
Just throw a tomato at me.
All right, so, okay, that face right there. It feels feminine to me, but is there a little bit of masculinity to it?
I can see.
Is it a pleasing Eric I can see, or are you actually getting something out of that?
I can see it being a little masculine. It could actually be pushed a little bit more.
Could be pushed. Okay, that's what I needed. That's what I needed to know.
Her jawline could probably be a bit more defined.
A little more? Okay, that's I defined it a little bit, but I could do some more. If you're wondering why we're having that kind of odd conversation, I have a character who is... I'm going to forget the proper term. I haven't written on the story for a while. She's from a civilization where everyone is cloned off the same person. So it's an entire planet full of blondes looking exactly alike. It's like a big, obvious conformity thing. It was born with an extra Y chromosome, so she's slightly more male than the rest of them, so she becomes a persecuted individual. So she looks extremely similar to everyone else, but I need to make her a little bit masculine. So it's not that it's a matter of anything other than I just need to nail it, where people go like, oh, that's an interesting face, you know, kind of a thing. So it's like I'm not trying to make fun of anything or anything. I'm just going like, no, I'm just trying to kind of make it work. And because I think she's actually an attractive character, but she's got some masculinity to her features, and I don't want to miss the chance to actually try to illustrate that and kind of learn from doing a face like that. But I think, Lashita, you're right. I think it could use a little more jaw. Yeah, no, that's literally why. And I'm not trying to be like insulting, go like, give her a big Adam's apple. Or something. I'm like, no. Exactly. It's like, no, I'm trying to go in. I'm trying to figure out how to do it right, because I actually really like the character. She's one of my more favorite characters because I end up doing a lot with her. But she's very boyish, and she's kind of like, well, boy, it's the best way I can put it. She's boyish. I also want to go in and maybe I want to define like the muscles on her arms a little bit more. Because I do not like making characters all the same. I like going like, what kind of a little thing can I try with this character to make them a little different? And I might fail, but at least I'm trying, you know.
Adam's apple, like Beaky Looney Tunes.
No. She's got a fairly decent set of guns, though. That's what she's you don't want to arm wrestle her. And I'm not saying that to be mean or anything, but like, no, I legitimately I based her off the idea of the female athletes that have been kind of controversial because they have the extra Y chromosome and they're built a little differently. I'm going like,
or they just happen to have a bit more testosterone.
Yeah, because they have a little bit more testosterone. I'm going like, I'm not making any judgments. I actually think that's really neat. Yeah, I'm like, not really neat, like, you know, but it's really cool. It's an interesting difference, and I haven't seen many characters like it. So I was kind of going like, oh, let me play with a character like that, and I did a story. And as it turned out, I really ended up liking the characters. I was like, oh.
Joe says you may have to accent the cheeks and jawlines to more manly like.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of thinking the same. The issue that I'm bumping into is I don't want to give her guy face. Yep. I don't want to give her girl face. I want to give her very much, in other words, if she was in a crowd of the same ladies,
Yeah.
you would have a hard time spotting her. But if it was one standing next to the other and you could see them, you could go, that one. So she can't be so far off.
From Batman Brave and the Bold, Mrs. Manface.
No. No, it took me a second. I'm like, I don't remember this. Oh, wait a minute.
I
No.
love Mrs. Manface.
Mrs. Manface is amazing. This is not Mrs. Manface.
It was like her and Dr. Girlfriend got swapped.
I adore Dr. Girlfriend. Dr. Girlfriend is one of my all-time favorite characters, but that's not what this character is. This character is legitimately not meant to be a joke.
I know.
You know.
I know. It's not what's funny. Make her a little bit more manly. This is Manface. No. the 5 o'clock stubble and the double ball chin.
Yeah. I actually find that kind of humor to be wonderful, but this is a character who's not part of that.
In Edmund Mill's voice. No, Adam's apple.
No, Adam's apple.
No grapes.
God, it's not exactly what I want, but it's not terrible. Screams sci-fi, though. What if... I love it. I'm going to have a character like this, and I just know there's people out there going like, you're transphobic, I'm going like, or whatever, and I'm like, A, no, I'm not, and B, there's nothing about this character that I think is offensive. I actually think she's probably one of my better characters.
Well, it's the usual response. How do you know if you've not read the book?
That's what I'm saying.
Read the book and then offer critique. If you're not going to read anything, I don't want to hear your opinion. If you don't want to bother even having a discussion, and you automatically just want to condemn, like, no, this is not a discussion. Please go away. Goodbye and have a nice life. I'm sure you never just have a life. Let's see. Joe says, this is why I think accenting the cheeks and jawlines. She can have all the other clones, but her facial features would be more pronounced. I didn't worry about the male aspect though.
Well, it's not so much the male aspect, is in the series, one of the thematic things is it's kind of like one of those sci-fi series where, at least in this part of it, an entire society is sort of unaware of things. And so the masculinity part comes in because the word exists, but she didn't understand what it meant, really. And so she's slightly more masculine than everyone else, and that becomes like this thing where, it's this thing that she's kind of called that she doesn't really get. So I want to make sure a little bit of it is in there, just so. And the thing is I actually think she's still going to be a very striking character. I just want to make sure that there's a little bit of, a little bit of something there, especially because, like, let's just say there's some of the like more athletic girls out there that might fall into this category, that might be a little boyish like that. Why shouldn't they have a hero? I'm legitimately saying, I was like, why can't they have a hero? There ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, honestly, if I would have kept on my athletic path, that probably would have been me. Because I was a rather athletic person. I didn't really do much because, again, not really encouraged, because not harping on myself, but people just didn't see the potential. Even though when I like, wow, I'm like, oh, they know wow about it. I could always do this. You just never bother to pay attention. But aside from all that, yeah, I mean, I I love watching a strong woman do her thing.
Oh yeah,
It's
and there's nothing wrong with it.
yeah, and
And plus, some of them are like intensely beautiful. Some not so much, but impressive nonetheless. And
it's one of the reasons why I think I like just lurched on the Chun Li so much.
oh, those thighs,
Exactly.
those massive man killing thighs. They're amazing.
It's like that was one of the first times I saw a strongly built woman who wasn't made a joke.
Yeah,
And I was like, I love seeing that. I mean, outside, I think the only other example I think was live action was more like American Gladiators, which I loved also.
yes, yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because like um, strong female characters have I've always liked them in animation, and the characters that I didn't care for so much are the ones where they kind of just made them super girly for no reason. Like it's not that I didn't like the girly characters, it's just that it was kind of like the ones that like why is this character like this? Like why are all the characters like this? And the funny thing is, people like some people like roll their eyes at GI Joe, and I go like, okay, there were a number of really not excellent episodes. Not joking, I get it, but the female characters typically were like really strong, independent, like almost feminist characters. They were really kind of wonderful, and I grew up on like it was the first time Lady J shows up, and it's Lady J and Flint, and there's like was it an admiral? I'm trying to remember. It was I think it was an admiral in the Navy, and he just talks down to her. And she goes off and has like a full blown like no 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 you don't talk to me like that moment on the show. And I ended up rewatching some GI Joe later and caught that again. I'm like, I remember this from a kid. I remember going like, yeah, like
I mean,
you old jerk, shut up.
that was one of the first time in an action cartoon where the the female members were actually part of the team and not
Yeah,
just
except for Cover Girl, who was just there to be blonde apparently, but
yeah, and we didn't see her much in Aquaman.
almost
Yeah.
ever.
And it's just like they didn't go by the Smurfette principle, which I can understand why it's there, but on the same note, it's just like after a while, it was just such a trope, and you just got tired of it. Just the girl was there just for the sake of being the girl. She didn't have any character aside from being the girl, and I never really cared much for that. What's wrong? What's, what's going on?
Where did my layer go? What happened? Where did? Whoa, that's bizarre. Okay, I accidentally turned the opacity to a layer to 0, and then no, that's not the weird part. The weird part is the information wasn't there.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm going to keep an eye on that. That is not right. Okay, keep going.
Well, what do you mean?
It
it turned
wa-
down and the layer just disappeared?
No, the layer was there. It was empty. I turned it back up to check it. It was empty. It's there now, so I'm not sure what happened there.
That definitely sounds like a glitch.
Oh yeah, no, that's why I was just like, wait, what? It's either that or I'm imagining things, which is
Could be a glitch.
possible.
Let's see. Joe says 80s G.I. Joe was the best. Lady J took no mess. Scarlet was wishy-washy at times too.
Scarlet was also like in Mass Device.
Mm.
Scarlet and Mass Device was pretty good. Lady J later on, I think Lady J became my favorite, but Scarlet was pretty cool.
And she was my first G.I. Joe. Scarlet.
So yeah, it's I'm not saying GI Joe was perfect. I'm just saying I think some people don't take it very seriously because there was some real junk episodes, but the ones that were good, actually were pretty darn good, you know.
You know, like I was saying, with the women of the team, they actually were part of the team, and like I said, they didn't suffer too much from the Smurfette principle. So it's like I appreciated that. Um, I like the fact that when I was in middle school and I would play with my because I had more guy friends than girlfriends, and we'd play like that or we play
Sure.
GI Joe, and I'm like, and I actually had a character I could pick from. Of course, it was always the well, you get to be yada yada, and I was like, well, of course I want to be the girl character because she's awesome, and she can kick it in your butt.
Hell, there were times where I wanted to be the girl character. Honestly, it's I'm not like doing stuff because it's politically correct. I'm doing stuff because I'm like I like female characters. Yes, do I like some kind of female characters that are like booby and exploitative? Yeah, but I also like the really strong ones, the really smart ones. I love female characters, and if you give me a stupid stereotype, like a really dumb one, I get tired of them really fast. Like, I love Lost in Space. Black and white, Lost in Space. I grew up on it. It's great. Judy is an unwatchable character. They did nothing with her. She was just there to basically mate with Major West. That is it. And Penny, there's moments where Penny was great. Penny could have been better. What was great? Uh, um, the mom had pretty good moments, but they could have done more with the mom. So I love Lost in Space, but the female characters needed work. Like some of the guy characters were pretty good. The female characters needed work. And so when they did the new version of Lost in Space, anyone can say whatever they want about it. I enjoyed it. And part of the reason was the female characters were really way improved. They were so much better. You know, I just very much enjoyed them. Oh, that might actually even make her hotter. Okay, so square the jaw out a little bit. I think you're right, man.
Joe says Cover Girl was just a driver who's there. He says Judy was there to go on walks with Major West to help Maureen choirs. Oh, probably chores.
Chores, yeah. Yeah, and it's like I get it. They were kind of creating a standard sort of like they were already creating something that wasn't quite on television. They didn't want to do too many things out of the ordinary. So I get it, but I'm also kind of like, guys, when I'm rewatching it, the female characters drive me nuts.
This is what a lady is supposed to do.
Oh, right. New Lost in Space Judy is light years better than, and Penny too. I loved. So they took Penny from the girly girl in space to Penny being the girl action hero in space. Now she wasn't perfect, but she was closer to being what I almost did it again. Will Smith, Will Robinson. Jesus. Will Robinson was in the original one, and Will Robinson, the new version, was not as smart as the original version, but he was good. I actually think that was a really good way to balance the show out. And I think there's a lot of people may have had a problem with the female Dr. Smith, which I actually think the criticism is reasonable because they significantly changed a character, but the female Dr. Smith was really good. I mean, she was just a total sociopath and was very scary, and I might have just actually made her hotter somehow.
So think of what's her name from Disney's Atlantis. Is it Helga? The blonde?
Oh, I have a floating cloud of that character in my head. Like I'm remembering her, but not super clearly. Because I don't want to sit there and just like make a dude with a ponytail. I don't want to do that. That's not the right thing here. I remember her being a very impressive character. I remember liking her. Well, the funny thing is doing this and making her boyish also gives her like that svelte blonde look, because there's like those ladies that are very angular.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's one of them. Of course, I'm saying that she was, her like the cast of that show was designed by Mike McMullen, so they're always very angular.
There's always going to be like very angular things, yeah. Yeah, I know Atlantis wasn't one of the more beloved Disney ones, and I know that there were problems. I like it, and I admit to some serious problems in it. But I actually kind of wish it did better because
Mm-hmm.
I like the direction of that. Yeah, but I'm reading no boyishness on that face. She's a
Oh,
very powerful, beautiful female, but that's
I would say more of the angles though, as in more in that aspect. But yeah, you're on.
she has a long face,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd have to completely reconstruct this head to do that.
Yeah, it's looking good to me.
Yeah, it's getting there. Let me see here. This Dr. Smith made this a version of Lost in Space, just like Jonathan. Jonathan, what's his name? Jonathan. Jonathan, give me a second. Harris. Jonathan Harris? I'm not sure if I'm remembering that right. Made the first season of the 60s show. A Dr. Smith who is about self is a great Dr. Smith. And the new one had way more depth. Well, not to mention, okay, firstly, the original Dr. Smith in the first season when he was the villain was a really good villain. But then they turned him into something weird, which was still kind of entertaining at times, but was weird. The new Dr. Smith is this scary sociopath. And she's not only a good villain, you genuinely can't figure out what is happening. Like, you're like, what is in her head? Like, with the other one, you could figure out what was in his head, and he was good. I enjoy Dr. Smith when he was the villain, because I thought he was excellent, because he was weird and super selfish, and so I like both of them. I actually want to have a version where we have both of them at the same time, and the Robinson family just can't cope. Because they're getting hit by duo level smithage. They're getting smithed. They're getting smithed in stereo. They're getting seriously smithed in stereo. Yeah, I've been kind of into cheekbones lately. I'm not sure what that is. It's been kind of fun adding them into characters more than I used to. Dude, I'm into the cheekbones lately. Come on, bro. Add in a cheekbone.
Again, I don't know why, but that stupid meme that somebody from Twitter, somebody posted a picture of like the account was supposed to be like this old guy who just didn't know how to use technology, and he would post on various different other people's tweets and post on Bush's baked beans on their Twitter, and it was just this old guy with the picture thinking about those beans.
Thinking about those beans.
I don't know why, but that just popped in my head when I think about them cheekbones.
Thinking about those beans.
Thinking about those beans.
Yeah, it's funny. It's not that it is not that I am against normal characters. Thinking about those beans. It's not that I am against normal characters. It's just that I don't want to do that at the first thought. I want to see if I can come up with something a little different. And then once I've gotten hopefully a couple things that I go like, oh, I feel as if I've achieved something a little different here, then I'll go in and do some more sort of average, normal, typical stuff, because I don't think that that's a wrong way to go.
It says the new one's relationship with Penny was unique because she saw herself in Penny, but not as psychotic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like there was some humanity to her. But it was sort of like, it was kind of like she wasn't in the driver's seat of her own mind. It's like there was a secondary part of her that whenever she might consider trying to fix herself, like the survival part of her would then take over and would make her do really awful stuff. And so that's why I liked it, because you just, there's moments where you're like, well, maybe she might. Oh no, nope, she's still doing the thing. Okay, we're still in trouble, Robinsons. We're still in trouble. I can't wait for the new season. And I hear it's the last season, so hopefully they're going to wrap everything up in a neat way. Okay, that's all right. So, what do you kind of? Wait, we're a minute behind, so it's kind of doing bad things. Okay, could be interpreted as being a little bit of a little bit of svelte, and yet feels a little boyish. I don't want to take it out of the eyes because I think the character still has very, yeah. Get rid of some stuff. All right. Yeah, let me get rid of some of that junk. Come on, you. Behave yourself. There we go. One of my issues with Rebel is sometimes there's lag on when you're switching layers and stuff. It gets a little screwy. I mean, there's so much about the software that I like, but there's still little things I think they need to work out. Okay, let's get rid of this.
That is my phone.
Oh, that's your phone? Okay.
Apparently my mom wants to FaceTime me.
Come on, there we go. Now it's behaving. Yes, just that. Yeah, okay.
Because I always see happier.
Alright, good. Come on. Behave yourself. There we go. Right. Did she survive at the end of the last season? And is still a question I have. I'm going to be honest with you, dude. It's been a while since I watched the second season. I kind of did it in one hit. And I kind of need to go back and probably rewatch. Because now that you bring it up, I'm not sure myself. Okay. Okay, yeah, that feels better. I need to clean some of that up a little bit. Yeah, I hate doing these organizational, but if I don't, I'll end up with a crazy fighter. Boom. I've actually gotten better with not using too many layers, but I still use quite a few. Yep, save. Okay. time is it? I still got at least a half hour before I have to make dinner. Something about that eye isn't right. I put down a shape that I liked, but now I'm trying to make it make sense. Mm. Wait. No. Good enough for now. Okay, come on, where is it? Where is it? And that's good enough. you done? Finish saving, please. Okay. Okay, am I missing something? Am I missing something? Why aren't you working? Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. What are you doing? Why aren't you working? Why isn't this functioning right? Okay, is it the tool? Okay, what is wrong? This is super weird. Why is this not working? Nothing. Huh. Weird. Come on, what are you doing? whatever. Alright. No idea what happened there. Okay. What are you doing? Why did you do that? Come on, behave yourself. I didn't ask you to do that. There you go. There you go. Okay. What?
I'll say you're still going.
Yeah, ran into a new one. The program worked, minus the fact that the cursor wouldn't actually put anything down. Yeah, it was really weird. I had to completely restart. I mean, it gave me the opportunity to save because it was running, but nothing would. You couldn't put a marquee down. You couldn't. You could change layers. You could save. You could do everything else. It was weird. That's a new one. I haven't actually seen that. So,
Well, I'm gonna get dinner going. No, it's almost 5:30. So.
oh, geez, I didn't even notice the time. Are you sure you don't want me to do it, sweetie?
Well, it's up to you. Right now, I gotta do something.
Well, if you gotta do something, then that'd be a good thing to do.
Did you want to just keep going, or did you want?
Well, you just said that you had to do something, so I didn't know if you had to go do something or you said in general you have to do something.
I had to go to the bathroom. I was trying to.
Oh,
I was
that's
trying
what
to be a
you
bit more
meant.
classy, but.
Oh, okay. Well, if you want, I could just go make dinner. You tell me what's going on because sometimes you want to do stuff. So
Oh, I'm good with whatever. If you want to keep. Sure. Yes. Go ahead.
okay, thank you.